For today's video, you're going to be working with graphing. Your lesson today is to graph the following points that are up here on your paper onto a piece of blank graph paper. In order to get started, you need to make sure you're paying attention to these directions up here. The one I'm showing is for hook 'em horns. You're going to read the directions carefully. So I'm going to read these directions. It says, turn your graph paper. Write the horizontal numbers on the longer side. Number your graph paper. Horizontal, 0 to 38. Vertical, 0 to 22. Copy and complete a picture by connecting the points below in the order given. The first number listed is always found on the horizontal axes, and the second is always the vertical axes. Place a dot each intersection given and connect the dots as you locate each coordinate. So if we go back to the beginning of the directions, it says turn your graph paper. This is how your graph paper is vertically. What they mean by turn it is to turn it so it's horizontal. So more like the hot dog instead of a hamburger. So you're turning it this way. The reason why they're telling you to turn it this way is because it says the horizontal needs to be from 0 to 38. So we need to be able to number on my graph paper from 0 all the way over to 38, and then vertical. You'll notice that the horizontal needs to be the longer side because it has higher numbers. So hopefully if you have a ruler, that would be nice to use. But remember the other day in class, I said you want to make sure that you draw a horizontal or a line nice and straight. So when you're doing this graph paper, I'm not sure if you can see it. So if you look down here on the corner, move it back in a little closer, I'm going to make a little L. So I'm going to draw a vertical line going up and a horizontal line going to the side. So my horizontal, this is my 0, and then I would number it 1, 2, 3, 4. You're numbering right on the line where they meet. Okay, we're not numbering in the space, we're numbering it on the actual line. And number all the way up to 38. So this is your horizontal. Your vertical, you want to do the same thing, but you're going to go up to 22. So 0 is the first line right here where the two intersections form that 90-degree angle. Number 1 is the first line going up. And then number 2. Again, you should be numbering on the line, not the space. And you're going to number that all the way up to 22. Then after you number your lines, your axes, and after you number going this way, all the way out, you're going to go ahead and graph. But make sure your numbers are all numbered correctly. It helps make things a lot easier when you go to graph. So now when you go to graph, you're going to start with the first point that's on your paper. Mine says 17, 20. So remember, we move the ladder over to the right to 17, and then we're going to go up to 20, and you're going to put a dot. And again, if you have a ruler, it might help you find where those two lines intersect. So you're just going to put a point at that intersection. And then you would do the next, and then I would put a line through this so that I know I did 17, 20. Now I'm going to do 17, 19. So I go over 17 and I'm going to go up to 19, make a new dot, and then connect those 2 points. Then I'm going to go to 15, 17, go over 15, up to 17, put a dot, and connect the last point I just did to my new point. Okay, again, I'm making mine really dark so you can see it on the screen. You do not need to make it that dark. So again, cross these off while you're doing them. My next one is 11, 19. So I'm going to go over 11, up to 19, and then I'm going to connect those 2 points. So I'm going to keep doing that until I come to the word that says stop. When I'm done, when I've gone ahead and went over and plotted 2420, so let's say I already plotted that. That was my last point. I plotted all of these. I'm going to put that point and connect my last point to it. But then when I do 720 over 7 up 20, I'm not going to connect it. I'm not going to connect my 2420 to 720. That's why it says stop. So you connect everything that's in that long line. When you come to the word stop, you're going to stop connecting, start a new point. Then when you make your next point, you're going to connect your new point to your second point. So you're kind of making all of these different shapes. So you'll go through and graph all of these, come to the word stop. So after you graph that last point, you're going to stop, start a new point, and then start connecting these. Then you stop, start a new point, and then connect. Stop, start a new point, and connect. Sometimes they do overlap. It all depends on the points that you are doing. Sometimes they connect, but I also included the picture of what it should look like. So when you start working on it and you've done a couple, so if you look at where I started on mine, this section right here is this point right here that I was doing. And then I stopped. So I was also doing this point coming down, as you can see it. Okay, so give it some time. That's not going to look like anything until you get all of the points put together. But that's how you would graph, set up your graph paper. Okay, if it says turn the paper horizontal, it means to make it so it's longer this way. Vertical is up and down. Horizontal is side to side. Then you just go ahead and graph until you come to the word stop. Make a new point and then graph and connect. Stop, graph and connect. So as soon as you've graphed one, make a dot, connect it to the next one, and keep connecting as you go down through. And hopefully you will get a picture at the end.